are having a blast in
I'm
Edinburgh.
gonna fire this can.
Did you jolt?
A little bit.
We've done a lot of window seat videos in Europe, but
This is one of the coolest ones we've ever done.
join us as we brave the
It's
elements.
not ideal. It's cold. This is just brutally cold. Yeah, it's a cold day out here. It was cold.
Exploring Scotland's capital city
Let's gather around here. I want to tell you guys a little bit about the Esplanade.
and its thousands of years of history.
Everywhere you go now, you got these people who think they're influencers or have to get this perfect picture.
Fighting off the crowds of rule breakers and Instagrammers.
Don't be disrespectful and don't be.
We're checking out the highest of this city's highs
Dum dum dum.
and the lowest of its lows.
Now let's check out the undercarriage.
Soaking in the culinary scene
I got mac and cheese.
When we're done, we get drinks.
and trying to figure out why so many people are dying to come here.
They call them tombs with a view because of their proximity to all of the cool spots here in
These are
Edinburgh.
very historic graves.
We've bagged ourselves a cool vacation this
We
time,
needed to start getting some steps and we're way behind today.
and we promise you'll enjoy all things Scotch, Scotch, Scotch.
We're all fired up about our visit to Scotland. Hey, bruh, we're taking you to Edinburgh, bruh, in this episode of Window Seat.
We are crisscrossing the British Isles on an epic week-long adventure. Our travels have already taken us to Dublin and Belfast, and now it's time for the place we were all looking forward to most, Edinburgh. Instead of an Uber, we took our chances on what has been dubbed the fastest and cheapest way to get to the city center, the Airlink Service 100 Express Bus. Cost about $6 US per person, took about a half hour. Bit of a bumpy ride, but all in all, a perfect and inexpensive way to get right into town. And it didn't take long for us to dive right into some drinks and dinner. And right away, we knew we needed to indulge in the national dish of Scotland, haggis.
I would not have predicted that.
Looks like biscuits and gravy, but for those who don't know, haggis is a type of pudding composed of the liver, heart, and lungs of a sheep.
Really good.
Not bad.
Wash it down with something cold and alcoholic, and you'll never know what you've just ingested. Besides, we were too excited to get started on our big adventure. And every adventure in Edinburgh starts and ends on a stretch of road that is the beating heart of this city.
The Royal Mile's got to be the most famous street in all of Scotland. For centuries, it's been the site of processions and coronations, and most recently, a very public goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II. Her body was driven right down this very street so that mourners could pay their final respects right here in her beloved Scotland.
People were here from very early this morning, 2-year-olds bringing bouquets of flowers to pay their respects to really the only monarch they'd ever known.
It is a stretch of road that runs a Scottish mile, which is about 700 feet longer than a regular mile for some reason, and is flanked on the east end by the Palace of Holyrood House and on the west end by Edinburgh Castle. In between, a bevy of shops, pubs, and restaurants that give you a little taste of everything Edinburgh has to offer, from food to souvenirs. Appropriate then that smack dab in the middle there's a monument to economist Adam Smith, the so-called father of capitalism.
All right, we're stood right now on the Castle Esplanade. And this is where we used to burn our witches.
We opt to start our day on the west end of the Royal Mile at the magnificent and truly ancient Edinburgh Castle. Talk about history. Built in the plug of a volcano believed to be around 350 million years old, it made it hard for the enemy to get in and out of here. It rises 400 feet above the city below, a stone fortress called Castle Rock. And though the castle itself dates back to 1103, people have been living in and around here for 3,500 years.
So, first of all, he was stripped naked.
Our tour guide gives us a rundown on the countless battles, wars, prisons, plagues, murders, and executions that have all unfolded within these fortress walls. For most every formative event in Scotland's history, Edinburgh Castle has been front and center.
The 4 parts of his dismembered body were scattered across Scotland as a warning to the Scots.
For being 800 years old, she looks pretty good, a crown atop one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. And it is amazing to explore every cobblestone and corner. There's just one problem.
It's cold. This is just brutally cold. I mean,
We've come here on a blisteringly cold morning. I mean, we're talking teeth-chattering cold.
Absolute nightmare. The most barbaric corner of Europe. Freezing cold, all these strange people wandering around.
it's a cold day out here, but I mean, we know that when we book these trips in this time of year, because that's why it's so cheap. That's why, it's more affordable to come out here this time of year, but you gotta be ready for the cold.
Our tour guide says it usually hovers around 34 degrees in town this time of year, just above freezing, but the wind chill really factors in. Actually, we lucked out because this is a gorgeous blue day with not a cloud in the sky, and he says those are rare, about a 1 in 20 shot this time of year. So we're counting our blessings, even though it is bone-chilling cold.
Thankfully, we find eventual refuge in, what else? Alcohol. At a gift shop at the apex of the castle, they hand out free samples of a delightfully creamy whiskey that tastes much like Bailey's. And it is enough to warm the cockles. And we're gonna need booze for what we see next. Despite that sign right there and many others like it admonishing tourists to stay off the grass and leave precious historic relics alone, the influencers strike again.
No, they have to walk up onto the grass, touch the wall, pose with the wall, legs up. You know how that goes. If you've seen your Instagram feed, you've seen these girls. So why she has to do this, I don't know. Couldn't have just done something right out here.
In shirt sleeves, remember, it's freezing outside, we see them, tripod at the ready, preening and prancing to get that perfect shot.
And it's a really excellent war memorial for all the Scots who have perished in World War I, World War II, all the world wars. And part of that is the landscaping and the area around it. And for people to stomp all over it for Instagram influencing is just so disrespectful and just being not mindful at all about what this place is all about.
Decorum is in order here because you're going into holy, reverent places like the oldest building in all of Edinburgh, St. Margaret's Chapel, dating back to the 12th century. It's stained glass, a tribute to the former queen, canonized by the Pope in the year 1250. And you're entering the Great Hall, a wonder of medieval Scotland. Built in the year 1511, it has hosted countless banquets and state events. And right next door, the site of an international incident in late 2023. Protesters damaged a glass case containing the Stone of Destiny. It's an ancient symbol of Scotland's monarchy, used when kings are coronated. In fact, it was used when King Charles was crowned at Westminster Abbey last May. It is a sacred relic with a history of shenanigans, like in 1950 when the Stone Raiders struck. 4 students from the University of Glasgow set out to steal it in 1950, and on Christmas Day, they did just that. They snagged a broken piece of it, tossed it in their Ford, and took off, hoping to send a message about Scottish independence. Eventually, it did make its way back to its rightful home, right here in Edinburgh Castle. Across the courtyard, you'll find the Royal Palace, where kings and queens have been born, lived, and died. And next to it, the elaborate and beautiful National War Memorial. 1 in 5 Scots who enlisted in World War I never came home. This reverent building pays tribute to them and every theater they fought in, as well as memorials to World War II heroes and others in the war's since. This is one building you gotta check out. After learning a bit more history,
St. Margaret, she was an English princess.
and hearing that cannon blast just as it does every single day at 1 p.m. except for Sundays, Good Friday, and Christmas, we were off to explore more of Edinburgh, preferably the places warm and indoors, with the soundtrack of bagpipers playing all around. Hope you like this musical instrument because it is nearly as common as haggis around here. It is not my favorite sound in the world, but you gotta respect the musicians, especially in weather like this. Speaking of the weather, we decide to head indoors.
All right, so we have seen sort of the top side of Edinburgh. Now let's check out the undercarriage. We're going to take a tour underground of Edinburgh. It's right here in the old part of town, right along the Royal Mile.
Turns out hidden beneath the Royal Mile lies a deep and unique secret, a cluster of hidden passageways, or closes as they were called, where people once lived, worked, played, and died, named for Mary King, a well-to-do business owner in the 17th century.
Hello everyone! everyone, and welcome to the Real Mary King's Close.
Built beneath the Royal Exchange, it is home to myths and urban legends.
Due to the nature of the site, it is quite dark downstairs, with low doorways, low ceilings, and uneven floor.
And it is just about the most unique thing you can do in Edinburgh.
I'm going to hand you over now to my colleague James, who is sadly no longer with us.
Who knew you could tour 400 years of history just a few feet beneath the bustling city streets?
Don't wander off. It is a labyrinth down there, and it is all too easy to get lost.
We'll leave a link showing you how to get tickets in the description below. As night begins to fall on Edinburgh, we head toward Princes Street for a taste of something just as much a part of Scottish culture as sheep organs.
There are some options in the middle if you're neither here nor there.
We're talking about Scotch.
Well, we're at Johnny Walker's. We're entering the distillery, but we're taking a flavor quiz first because when we're done, we get drinks.
Spread across 8 floors in an ultra-modern building, this place is more amusement park than distillery, which is why it's earned the moniker Malt Disney.
And they want to know what drinks are best for us. And I appreciate that because I like to have a nice, proper cocktail.
A quick survey helps you determine your taste preferences, and then you're off on a flavor adventure. A multimedia tour explains the history of this country's most famous alcoholic export, gives you a little show and tell on how it's made, and gives you the chance to taste it, not just once or twice, but 3 drinks, yours to enjoy for the $30 tour.
Oh, really?
At tour's end, there's a bar and restaurant at the top to enjoy a nightcap and nighttime views, and let the alcohol and the experience really soak in.
And that's what's the big thing about it, is it's great value, a great tour, you enjoy it, and it's going to be very memorable for any trip you take out here. You got to make sure you do that.
Our Johnny Walker experience made us so festive, we hit the town a little more, exploring a few pubs along the Royal Mile before our early wake-up call and a trip to the airport. But before we're out of here, we take one last stroll along this famous street, down to the East End, to Holyrood Palace, where Mary, Queen of Scots, once lived, and where Queen Elizabeth II lied at rest overnight after her death.
You can hear the applause from the crowd, marking the Queen's 70 years of service, and the Queen who spent summers at Holyrood, returning home for one final time to the place in Scotland that was her official residence, essentially her Buckingham Palace here in Scotland.
And just a few blocks away, we stumbled upon the New Calton Burial Ground, but there's nothing new about this place. Built in the early 1800s, many of the dead were then moved here from other cemeteries.
It's kind of a strange but nice feeling to kind of wander through and see some of this.
A labyrinth of decaying vaults leads the way to this crumbling watchtower, an eerie but beautiful stopping-off point blocks away from the busy tourist traps of Edinburgh.
They call them tombs with a view because of their proximity to all of the cool spots here in Edinburgh, just a few steps off the Royal Mile near the Parliament building. And there are a few notable people buried in this cemetery, including William Knox. He was the favorite poet of Abraham Lincoln, in case you didn't know. I certainly did not know that. There's also a memorial to some war heroes who were killed during World War II in an especially violent attack.
Part of the history of Edinburgh, and you want to know all about the places you visit, so it's kind of cool to come through and see this.
And Edinburgh really is all about tourists. I mean, seriously, who wouldn't want to come here? Centuries of history and mystery all in one place, and all of it just waiting to be explored. Now it's your turn to explore it.
All right, so there you have it. From the heights of Edinburgh down to the depths below, we have tackled Scotland as best we can. We hope you liked this episode of Window Seat. If we missed out on something, including Kleenex, feel free to leave it in the comments. Let us know what we should check out next time we're in this country. Also, we'd love it if you'd like and share so we can spread the word about what we're doing here. And please subscribe so we can continue to share these adventures all over the world. That's it for this episode of Window Seat from Edinburgh, Scotland. I'm Jeremy Hubbard. We'll see you next time right here on Window Seat.